Hey, this is Scott Snyder, and you're watching the Sci-Fi Center.
Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Tuesday and welcome to a special Midnight Express. The sole purpose of this particular episode is just as we explained last night, because we knew that this teaser was coming out, was going to just take a look at and discuss the newest Lantern teaser. Now, I put the word teaser capital in the description because it still seems like there are people out there that don't get what a teaser is and what a trailer is. They are not always the same. In many cases, they are not the same. I got up this morning, or this early afternoon in my case, hoping for a trailer, but I got a teaser. I still know the basic premise, but that's just the generic premise. Is here's Hal Jordan, here's Jon Stewart. You know, that's the stuff. That's not the actual premise of the show. In the mission of the show, we haven't been given that yet, so I am still waiting for a trailer. But as things go, I thought this teaser was fine. I thought it did its job. It expanded the conversation and moves it a little bit closer. The next time, though, the next time we do this, I need to see a trailer. I'm ready for a trailer. We've been given 2 teasers now, and we still don't have the nuts and bolts of what the story is about. There are some things that I noticed in there. Obviously, I get a lot of people messaging me and pointing out about Guy Gardner being in there. I am almost sure, 100% certain that is 2026, and anything you see Guy Gardner in as a Green Lantern will be in 2026 or at the very end of 2016, because there's only the one Earthborn Lantern, and that's Hal Jordan at the time, until he hands that ring off to Jon Stewart. So before we get into it, we bring in Brad. What's going on? So yeah, it's
Did you play it already?
No, I have not. I was buying some time. One of the things that people understand are gonna, they can or they don't have to understand. Everybody has an opinion, but your opinion, it will exist in a vacuum based on the criteria that is the mission for HBO in this show. One of the things that this teaser totally reinforces the fact that this is for their viewers. It's inspired by the Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps and Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart and Sinestro, all these things. But this is for HBO viewers first, before it's anything else. So if you need comic book accurate, I invented the cure for that. All right. You don't need to go to the medicine cabinet. You don't need to take any drugs. Don't need to put anything up your nose. Don't need to take a shot. If you want comic book accurate, I should trademark this, because I know what happens with people. I invented the remote control, and now everybody's using it. If you want comic book accurate, go read a comic book. fact, I would love if you went to go read a comic book. If you're in Vegas, I know a place. But wherever you're at, if you want that type of comic accurate, the Papers and the Staples is for you. They created it for you. But I see these comments, and it's clear that they're wanting a comic book on the screen. I don't want that. The biggest comic book geek I know, I don't want that. Because I know the difference between one format and another. And you have to be able to appreciate those. And I think there's just a lot of rhetoric. We're not going to focus too much on that because there's a lot of positive stuff that came out of there. But a lot of rhetoric is based on these teasers. That's like me saying, you know what? I'm ready to buy your house. And the only thing I've seen is a fucking doorknob in the peephole. It's not a lot to go on. All right. So here we go.
Yeah, got mail.
Yeah. I always keep it on. People ask me why I keep a 30-year-old AOL because I get a lot of emails and texts throughout the day, and some of them don't need my attention immediately. Some of them do, so they're each assigned a different one. So, all right, let's make sure this sounds right. I want to fuck this up. I shouldn't. Well, I probably will get kicked or demonetized for this until we actually start promoting it. I don't know if we're going to. We are doing an in-store promotion for this. So when this airs on August 16th, it's going to be a first for the Sci-Fi Center Presents and the Sci-Fi Center in general. We are going to air this live as it airs with a studio audience. So I will be streaming with you guys as I'm interacting. We did that for Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, but not the same way. We're going to do it now, but it'll be a little bit different than our usual thing. So, all right, here we go.
This ring, it's the greatest weapon in the universe. When and if to use it, that's the whole ball game, Junior.
Did you just use that ring to counterfeit money?
No.
Tell me how you got it. The ring.
You know how I got it. I sure as hell didn't interview for it.
Oh, well, shit, maybe you should have. Power like that, shouldn't you have to work for it?
I've been doing this since you were a baby. And the only way you're gonna get this ring is over my dead fucking body.
I think he likes me. Everybody is lying to us.
We're not leaving here till we find out what they're hiding. Danger's part of the job. You need to be fearless.
How are you chosen for this?
It's only one question. Are you afraid? You afraid?
Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Are you afraid?
I was raised fearless, and I'll do this better than he's ever done it before.
Then go and get it, Jon Stewart.
All right. Just first thing before I say anything is I've been watching HBO probably since I was a kid. I've been watching HBO's Sunday night shows since they've been around. That is as consistent with anything that they've ever done, which alone on its own has my approval for now. I could see the show and it could suck. I don't get those vibes. Now, some of the things, and I'll hand it over to you, Brad. Some of the things that I saw out in this trailer or teaser. A lot of these things that they're saying are taken out of order and out of context because even on the basis they don't make any sense. I thought this was cool. I thought the counterfeit money thing was cool. This is
especially because that dollar is eventually, once he stops focusing, that dollar is going to disappear.
Yeah, so he's basically stealing, which I thought was cool. I thought was on board with how it would do with the ring. there's a point in here where he's talking. It looks like when he's going to the planet. I'm gonna guess that planet that he's flying to
What, that
is
ice
Oa.
looking planet
Yeah, that is Oa.
with the crevice he flies into?
And he is there to there it is. He is there to talk to Sinestro.
Maybe not the Sinestro, maybe just the Guardian.
You afraid?
No, he's right there. He's talking to somebody that's in prison, has been in prison. And that looks like Sinestro. I'm gonna guess that's Sinestro from the back.
No, that guy looks human to me. I think it's
well, Sinestro's humanoid. You can kind of see the orange.
But he's also purple.
He's orange, or not orange, but like a rutabaga. I don't know what the fuck. But it's hard. But if you look at the back of his neck, that could be, and you look at the shape of his head and the hair. And we know Sinestro's in this because he's been cast.
Did they say if they just said he's in it, but have they announced who's playing him?
Yeah. That he's that's actually, if you I don't know if you want to pull up IMDb. There's some he's actually officially cast. They did that on the same day that they let you know Nathan Fillion was in here. So
I'll pull Wikipedia for it here.
And they actually have the actor. So I think that's him talking to Sinestro.
Okay, Ulrich Thompson is playing Sinestro.
Yeah. So I think there's whatever's happening on Earth during 2016. Sinestro is going to know about it. And I got a theory.
I know Sherman. I'm just looking at the cast here. I know Sherman Augustus is on the show. I like because he was on Into the Badlands for years. I was a big fan of that show. So he's John Stewart's father in this. So looking forward to seeing him.
So I think something's happening to where he needs. It's kind of like a Hannibal Lecter situation. So that's Sinestro there, in my opinion. At least that's what I'm thinking. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. All right. This is John Stewart going through his. We
saw like pictures that we didn't see like the snippet of that yesterday, but we saw like pictures of him in uniform and whatnot. So yeah,
I'm guessing if they go at canon, he's a Force Recon, which is this is his jump qualification. He's also sniper qualified. I mean, a Marine marksman. Period. A basic Marine marksman. Period is one of the
maybe with this, like he's diving right past Godzilla's head. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that was actually one of the cooler parts of that movie.
I love that part.
Distracting. So he's probably having some flashbacks. I don't know if in this show if he's currently at the same time he's training
he's active duty.
Lantern, if he's active duty Marine. That's something I don't know. I couldn't tell you from this.
Are you afraid?
All right, so these are flashbacks. Yeah, these are flashbacks. And fear seems to be the theme of this particular teaser, which leads me to what I think they're doing here, and I'll let you know when
that's a theme like within Green Lantern is fear. Correct,
but I think that in Laura Linney's character in here, I think that it means something. All right. That's that's John Stewart. That's not Hal. So now we're in 2026 here, I think, and whatever happened in 2016 necessitated that there's more than one Green Lantern in 28. I don't know what their reasoning is going to be, but that's why he's there.
The other thing too, I think go back a little bit. It's when it shows like the family watching TV, because I think that's John Stewart's family, and this is what I was kind of piecing together from this is that he in 2016 he's a kid. He's probably like about 13, 14 years old, and Hal Jordan is like a known public Green Lantern at that point. So he kind of grew up, maybe not hero worshiping him, but he knew of him as like, he was established, he was publicly known, and then like that portion of it is what's going to take place 2016 is John Stewart, and with Kyle Chandler, he looks younger too on the on that TV snippet of him. So I think that whole section of it is the 2016 portion where it's like, again, he's publicly established, and John Stewart's a kid. He's seeing his heroic exploits.
I think you're wrong. I think John Stewart is a grown man in 2016. I think the part where all the stuff you see with them in the bars and all this, you're a substitute teacher kid, that's 2016. I think when you see him as a kid, that's even further back. That's going to be a flashback.
So it's not going to be just 2016, 2026.
No, it's going to be. Well, you'll have some flashbacks that are relevant to John Stewart before he's chosen. Now, the thing about John Stewart is, depending on what canon you go with, and comic wise, he was chosen. he's considered an anomaly in that respect because he was not
and actually
prior to that. Yeah, he was.
This is actually Aaron was just asking. Is like the ring typically chooses the successor,
or the dying person sends the ring out. Yeah, you're right. So
with that, that's what one. Yeah, that Alvin Sur is the one. He picks Hal that way, and like if the Green Lantern's like killed on the job, then the ring flies off and finds the next recruit.
Yeah, so you have a situation like you've had different situations with Kyle Rayner where Ganthet, the last surviving of the Guardians, went and found him, and then prior to this, when they were establishing a 2814 Green Lantern after something happened, because Hal Jordan was not the first choice; it was Guy Gardner. If you go back to the history, so what happens here is this is current. This is Superman 2025 time. He's done something to get himself locked up. But obviously he has connections with the Justice
at one
Gang
point he's running away from somebody too there. So this might be like after he gets that chase, he gets caught and thrown in jail. And by the way, it's
raggedy town. All right, so
Are you
go back. To where it's showing a Guy Gardner there in front of the bars, because you can't quite tell. Okay, yeah. From this, you can definitely tell better because it was a little bit more shadowy in the. Where you froze it a minute ago, I was wondering. I was thinking like, okay, is this going to be like this? That kind of like I call it like the double mint gum Green Lantern suit that he had in Superman. I couldn't quite tell there, but yeah, this is the green and the white one. So that
it says Justice Gang right on the.
It says Justice is present day as far as like Guy Gardner's role.
Are you afraid?
All right. This right here is very important. This is just me piecing bullshit together, so throw this away. This is my theory. What you're seeing here, for those of you who have ever been to a military funeral, either Air Force or Army, depending on what's available as far as assets, but this is an Air Force funeral. I've been to one of those. This is what's called, for those of you who are not familiar with the military, this is a missing man formation. You are clearly missing a jet here. I think this is Hal Jordan's funeral.
Are you afraid?
Possibly. I could be 100% wrong. Hal Jordan's in the Air Force. He wouldn't even matter if he was active duty. If he was high enough or respected, he may be given a funeral if this is him.
Well, like by the time, usually canonically, by the time he's like becomes a Green Lantern, at that point he's a test pilot.
Yeah. All right. So.
Are you afraid?
All right. That thing.
Yeah, that pole sticking through the. Oh, you're about they got this like ray gun up to his head.
I think this town is some type of conduit or cult or something that has to do
the yellow energy there.
That's something that Sinestro has done or something that Sinestro is setting up. I don't know what, but that's what. And
look
that's
at his
why
eye there too. It looks a little bit looks like it's turning white. So it might be like
they're trying to convert him.
They're trying to like imbue him with the energy of fear, which again it's like, and I didn't William,
they may have tried it with they may have tried it with Parallax and they assumed it killed him, and now they're trying it with him. I don't know. There's not enough here.
I know William doesn't like the movie, but I mean that was like the movie went heavily into the whole conflict, will versus fear, which again that's not something the movie just did on its own. That is true to the Green Lantern.
Yeah, but it just wasn't executed. Here's the thing: when you guys say you want comic book accurate, Green Lantern 2011 was comic book accurate. It was horrible. There's got to be a balance there. But that's just a theory I have as far as this.
Yes, right there where he's running away from somebody. That I think that happens before he's in the jail cell, and he gets caught and he gets put in the jail cell.
I don't know when. I don't know if that's 2016 or 2026, but because at some point he's the Green Lantern. He gets that ring, he gets that bag.
Yeah, this here with the sniper rifle, I think that's the mission he goes on after he dives out of the plane. I think that's probably.
He's not in. Is he in his uniform? Let me see. Hold on. All right.
Raised fearless.
Okay, yeah, he is in his uniform. This is probably fearless. That's probably 20.
I'll do this better than he's ever done it before.
All right.
About Laura Linney, I haven't seen her in something like God knows how long. like the Truman Show.
All right.
It's like, and I'm sure she's been working, but it's like
plenty of shit in there. You just
yeah, I
don't
know
watch
she's been
good
working,
stuff.
but it's just like she hasn't popped up in like I mean, because I remember her in like Congo and again the Truman Show and all kinds. But she's big time in the night. But yeah, it's just
C Word, where she won a bunch of Emmys for it. Don't remember that.
Yeah. So
okay. I think this is an evil guardian or somebody. Somebody. This is a villain. This is not a good person here. I don't know whether it's a guardian in disguise. I don't know whether it's somebody that is working either with Sinestro. I don't know. It's somebody who's trying to influence him, and that whole thing to the head where the yellow, they may think they have converted him, because he's saying things that I can do it better than he can, but her encouraging him to go get him. I don't know where this takes place, but I think she's some type of villain. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Then go and get it, Jon Stewart.
Now, when she says "go and get it," maybe she's saying "go get the ring, go get the lantern." Not 100% sure, but
Aaron,
you can pick other people in the chat.
Yeah, but she's my sis.
She's not your sister, and I'm pretty sure if I'm looking up on the screen, there's tons of people that want to talk.
Well, yeah, but this is about like the missing man. Was that a missing man? Because that was, I mean, because I never been to an Air Force funeral, so that was a missing man. Okay, so that
is a missing man, and it's either done two or three ways. You can't see the first part, but usually it starts as a full formation, and then what ends up happening is the one jet flies off. Like if you watch Top Gun Maverick with ice skits, that's a missing man formation.
Yeah. Okay. Because my knowledge of the Air Force is definitely much more limited than the Army as far as
and for certain people, I mean, even if you weren't in, if you have a military funeral and it's outside and they can accommodate it, sometimes they do it for even a non-pilot. But Hal Jordan and Ice are both pilots.
Tom King didn't invent Jon Stewart being a Marine. That's he's been a Marine for decades, comic-wise. So yeah, that's not a new thing. If he would be a Marine with or without Tom King being involved.
Okay, I don't know how far back his Marine, because I know it was post-crisis. But
it predates the show by decades, though.
Oh, everything predates the show by decades. How you doing, Clinton?
Clinton.
All right, so here, speaking of Green Lantern, please like, subscribe, share, do all this stuff.
Oh, Hal, well, you're watching us comment on your show while you're busy patrolling the galaxy.
Is John getting Hal's ring? He does not. In this canon, he does not. It is one right now. There's only one Green Lantern of Earth, and it's Hal. So he is, for whatever reason, he's about to step down, leave, and that ring is going to him. There's only going to be one.
Rational had a super chat. Will we see Simon Boss? I don't think you'll see either of them. I mean, maybe like just bump into him in the bar or something like that, kind of cameo. But I mean, if they appear, it's probably not substantial roles. I think probably if you see a Lantern, obviously you got Guy Gardner in there, but other than like those three, the one I would see being most likely have a cameo or appearance of any kind probably be Kyle Rayner.
Down the line, maybe, but not immediately. You're talking about if this show goes into year 2 or 3 or 4, I would.
I'm saying like out of all the Lanterns that we got. Hal, John, Guy, so like all the other Lanterns.
Well, you have the 3 early Lanterns that would make up for the first 50 years of Green Lantern lore. I don't think you're going to see.
I don't think it's a high chance, but I think out of all the other human Lanterns, it's like I think it's a high chance that Kyle appears, but I think he has a better chance of Simon and Jessica.
I think they both have a 0 chance at this point, unless this show reaches 6, 7, and 8 season, because you're bypassing Kyle's history with this story that they're telling you right now. You're literally bypassing it if I think they're doing what I think that they're doing. So you're bypassing all those characters. And unless you go around and to put them back in, you're going to have to justify where they fall at in this timeline. Where Jon Stewart is right now is where Hal Jordan would be, because even though Hal Jordan was senior to in the comics, senior to John Stewart, he wasn't by that much. Here, he's a generation. There's a generational gap between the two, and there isn't that generational gap in the comics. The same way with Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner was the generational gap that you would see in this show. So I don't know if you'll see them, but if we do see them, that means the show has lasted a lot longer than I thought it was, and then that would be great. But right now, I think it's going to center around the three basic Green Lanterns that would make up the Green Lanterns that you would have seen from 1955 up to this point right here. That's just a guess, though. But there you go. Going back to hold on. Going back to yeah, that seems to be the premise, is that at this point, when they're in their first meeting, there will only be one Green Lantern on Earth, and that when Hal steps down, he literally hands that ring over to John Stewart.
Evil Guardian, are all Yellow Guardians evil? Or some good? Well, I mean, it's because the Yellow were you talking about the Guardians? Or are you talking about the Sinestro? Because the Sinestro Corps, they're the ones that wear the yellow ring and use yellow energy. They don't. It's not like they don't perceive themselves as evil, but they thrive on the energy of fear. It's like there's the whole. Jeff Johns, his the way he sort of restructured the Green Lantern canon was that each of the Lantern Corps, their ring represented a different emotion on the spectrum. So it's like Will was green, yellow is fear, so violet was love, blue is some of them are escaping me right now. Red for rage. Red is rage, yeah. Well, that's obvious. Red is always going to be rage, but look real quick here. Some of them, but I can never remember what blue is.
We're getting too far because I don't think that's they're touching that yet. I think it's going to be limited to what Celeste, because you're talking about the Cordians, you're talking about things, but there are Guardians who have created other rings. There are Guardians who have created their own police forces and their own lanterns. And this may be some type of power struggle. We don't know enough just from this teaser to get into what Jeff Johns did. In fact, I would recommend that you not go in that direction yet, because until you know what they're planning to do here, because the only color we may be experiencing in this show might be Sinestro's Yellow Lantern and something like that until we see otherwise.
So just kind of add on that over everybody. Just it's giving in. Filling in for people who less familiar with Green Lantern. So red is rage, orange is greed, yellow is fear, green is will, blue is hope, indigo is compassion, violet is love, black is death, white is life. Or each color lantern, that's what they correlate to.
Now you have to understand that you may not see any of that stuff in this show, especially since it's not a Jeff Johns production. It's Tom King and Daniel Lindlow. You may not see any of that, because that stuff that it came on that stuff is basically recent.
That's recent. Well, by recent, I mean like within the last 20 years. So it's not it's not absolute DC recent. Yeah.
But there's a long way between what you're seeing in this teaser and where that's at, unless they just open up with it. And I haven't seen any indication that that's what they're doing. But we've only seen 2 teasers. But I would beg people, if you're trying to wrap your head around what you may be trying to see here, the absolute worst thing, in my opinion, you could do is even think about Blackest Night.
Well, they're definitely going to get, when you see from the teaser, they're definitely getting into will and fear.
Okay,
that's
Sinestro's ring's been around for 50 years now. The Cordian ring, and so now, in fact, when you first see Sinestro in a comic book, he's already yellowed up. It's not, you don't find out his origin and everything else until they tell you his story about how he used his ring to rule his planet and all that, and then he was banished, and then he was banished to the animated zone and the Cordian. So there's a story there that has decades that precedes Blackest Night and Sinestro Wars by decades. We don't know if they are going to stay within that circle or whether they're going to just flood you with a bunch of other stuff. I doubt it's going to be the latter. Could be wrong. Doubt it's going to be the latter, because that's just too much for that's too much weight to put on a beginning story. By the time they introduced that in the comics have been around 60 years. And we had already had one of those colors. 2 of those colors were obviously prominent. You had the Green Lantern and you had Sinestro's ring. And
Is
it
Carol
wasn't until
Ferris on the show? Let me look her up if she's up real quick.
don't know. She might have been the lady sitting at the.
Someone. Yeah. This is Paula Patton. They're a couple like Laura Linney and Paula Patton are in undisclosed roles, and nobody here is listed as Carol Ferris. So that theoretically that could be a possibility that Paula Patton might be Carol Ferris, but just
But
like not.
I think that the two colors.
Actually, you know what, Laura Linney, because we got an older Hal, so that might also indicate we'd have an older we would have an older Carol Ferris. So I mean,
but I don't know I don't know why he would be talking to her that way. I don't know why, unless that's a scene shot out of sequence. Unless that's not what's being said when he says I can be a better Green Lantern than he ever was. Maybe that's a scene that's not matched up like like they do that. They mix it up. So I don't know. Maybe she's a villain. Maybe she could be Carol Ferris. I don't know. Maybe that's who's there at the apartment or the house when he comes to get the lantern in the ring. Well, there's not enough here. This isn't a trailer, so I don't have enough pieces to make to form an educated opinion on it, because everything we've seen in a teaser has been out of order, out of context. And now that we know that we're dealing with two different time spans, then it's all fair game. Everything could be right, everything could be wrong. So how you doing, Jalen? But yeah, I would recommend, until the story hints that they're giving us the entire rainbow, I would focus on, if you're just trying to understand this as a fan coming in. And there are people who watch this show, I know for a fact, that are not comic book geeks. They watch for other reasons. So if you're the other 98%, which means the HBO Max and HBO crowd that is coming into this blind, and you just want a little bit of reference, right now, stay away from Blackest Night. Not yet. If they start dropping crumbs that's where this leads, then go there. But right now, I don't know if there's a reason you need to jump into all that. That's a very complex story that is not really necessary for the basic understanding for a layman for Green Lantern. And then the geeks already know the story, so we don't really need to really reference it. All right, Rustin. Oh yeah, I heard about him. I wasn't as familiar with him as people who watch the animation were, but I get he was a voice in Star Wars and voice in a lot of different things. But yeah, rest in peace. Okay. Jalen Harris. Well, I thought this new trailer, it's a teaser, would unite the okay. I can't even finish this. This boneheaded fandom is getting united. Come on now. Well, I thought this new trailer would unite the fandom and maybe ease the discourse, but nope, it just got more annoying and somehow racist. Okay, I missed those parts, but I'm pretty sure I'll
the whole thing about like Aaron Pierre is like that caused like a kerfuffle, or it's like he's not quote unquote black enough or
okay, yeah, I remember that, and I laughed at that and went on. Like John, not black enough. Why? Well, that's stupid. But I'm laughing at the discourse, not because I don't have respect for people's opinions. I am laughing at the basis of the opinion. It's so fucking stupid. It is so fucking stupid. It's like you got the comic book in your hand with a magnifying glass and you're holding it up to the screen. It's like, what are you doing? They're not making a comic book. They're making a show that has to appeal to everybody. And the guy who's doing that knows what he's doing. So that kind of nonsense. As far as the fan base being, I am more concerned and would be more moved with the general audience liking it. Because they're going to be the ones that get me a season 2. They're going to be the ones that get me a season 3, season 4. Us on the internet, we're not moving the needle. We're just making noise. That's all we're doing. So yeah, I don't think there's such thing. Once fan bases are fractured, they're there. They enjoy being fractured, so they let them stay that way.
Aaron says, I have a theory on the title. I think the reason why the show is called Lanterns over Green Lanterns is because it's got more. I think it's type. I think more than green and a green, yellow, perhaps red.
Somebody else bought that up. I don't think that is the case. Just a gut feeling, nothing.
Well, she asked the other night about like those red beams when he forms like the energy dome.
Yeah, I think that might be something, but it doesn't look like a construct. But there's just not enough there for me to say either way. I think it's called Lanterns because when you're talking about crafting something superhero core to HBO Max, Green Lanterns just didn't fit. There could be a rainbow reason to it, Aaron, but from if
somewhere over the ring.
if you live in the normal world that it's not filled with guys wearing Shazam shirts, Lanterns is more consistent. When you look at HBO's titles throughout the last 30 years, they're very simple. They're very simple. I think Game of Thrones might be the most complex one, but they're very simple. They're very to the point. So yeah, I don't know if there's a rainbow reason. There could be. I'm kind of hoping not, because I don't want to fry people's brains trying to get into the show. But I trust Lindelof to give me the story in a way that doesn't blow people away. If you can give me Watchmen and gain viewers with each episode like that show did, then you can do it. I may not know how you're doing it. Who knows? I may not even agree how you're doing it. But I'm not the part of the audience you need to win over. As a matter of fact, the internet is not the audience you need to win over. You need to win over Joe and
it's
Jenny
definitely
average.
got with Sinestro, it's got some presence of yellow.
But Sinestro exists without that.
Yeah, and then green. Yeah, because novel concept have green in a Green Lantern show, which we finally saw more of that in this trailer. That was definitely.
And if you needed to see it up to this point, knowing what the show is about, there's nothing I can say.
I mean, what a novel concept to have green in the Green Lantern show, but
whatever. That discourse was fucking dumb, by the way. I'll fucking say it. That discourse, and I'm going to say it slowly for any of you guys that entertained that was fucking stupid, and you made us geeks look stupid with you. But anyway,
novel concept.
No, it's just people being pieces of shit, to be honest with you. And just fucking things up for anybody, just looking for something to complain for. They don't even know what they're about to complain about. They just know that they're ready to complain, and that's getting old. So we're not even. You know what? I'm going to do better. Fuck that. You know what? Go somewhere else with that shit. You don't need the rainbow to have Sinestro. So just because there's a yellow, even if there is a yellow lantern ring involved, you don't need to introduce the entire rainbow for that, because that concept existed from the conception of Sinestro. So I don't know if they're doing the rainbow, but just because you see Sinestro doesn't automatically mean because he pre-existed that story. I don't even think Jeff Johns was born when that yellow ring came out. Yeah, here's all the green you need right here.
Yeah, more than the first trailer, definitely.
But that kind of nonsense, to be honest with you, I think this fandom will be better if that mindset went away. And it doesn't matter whether it's Lanterns, BVS, anything. Stop being fucking stupid. There are a whole lot of ways to get attention and to get the look at me stupid shit going without taking geekdom down with you. Stop being fucking stupid and stop making us all look stupid with this dumb. The basis of some of this stuff is just silly. I'm surprised you guys can type some of this shit with a straight face. I really do. And the fact that you can't see somebody when they're typing on the internet, I don't think you are doing what it says. I can't take you seriously. That was nonsense. Let's see. No, Sinestro is not purple. Wow, we're jumping 30 years down the line. He had Sinestro's ring before any of that, and that was back in the 90s. So yeah, there's some of the stuff you guys are referencing might just be too much, depending on what the story is. There's a lot of different directions you can go with this show, but you don't want to go into too many directions with this show.
I doubt the Manhunters are in it.
They could be. If there is a semblance of an evil guardian, then you could have them in there. I don't. There's nothing in these teasers that say they couldn't be there, and we don't know what form they could be if they were. Let's see. I'm gonna bet no. because none of them are part of the core story where it seems like they're setting this. I'm gonna bet no. I'm not. Listen, if Mendeloff is giving it to me, I trust him with the controls. I'm gonna bet no. I think yellow is the most you could see, but you know what? If there's more, then that means I sell more different colors of rings that I have in the store. But I don't think. I know the urge is to jump to certain points, but I don't see anything in these teasers. Now the red beam coming down, it can be anything. I mean there's a whole bunch of red science fiction and horror and fantasy. It could be a red lantern. It didn't look like it was something in that kind. It looked like they were being attacked by something, like some type of ship or something. That's a possibility. That's a possibility, depending on how he dies, if he dies, or if he becomes some other
That'd be
incorporeal
probably
being.
pretty late in the show. I'd imagine that'd be very late in the show.
No, that's going to be in the beginning. I think Hal's not long for season 1. I think halfway through this season, he's something else. He's not a Green Lantern. I think they're establishing that, and I think that's a shell game that they're showing people because Hal Jordan and Ninjas are like, oh, they're going to kill Hal Jordan in the beginning of this. So if that's the story that they're telling, that's fine. I mean, your comic book Hal Jordan is still alive and well. I checked. I think they're going to kill him sooner than later, or they're going to do something to him sooner or later. I don't think when you in season 1 that we're going to have Hal Jordan, and that's going to piss a lot of people off. But I think people who are not as connected to the Green Lantern as maybe a High Geek Nation is, they're just going to see it the same way when Ned Stark died. Sorry, it's been 15, 16 years. When you looked at when people who didn't read the books of Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire, they thought that Ned Stark was going to be there forever, and he ended up he wasn't, and that ended up being the biggest shock of Game of Thrones for the people who did not know Game of Thrones. If you read the books, you knew exactly what was going to go on. But I think we're going into a situation like that possibly. I have no idea, Jalen. I have no idea because in order for me to make that assessment, I need to see where they leave off in season 1. I can't even give you an honest answer until I see where they leave off in season 1. Depending on where they are at, do we still have a Hal, which I don't think is going to be the case. Is John Stewart the Green Lantern? I mean, who is the enemy? I don't know the antagonist yet. That's the difference between a teaser and a trailer. I don't know the antagonist. I know Sinestro's involved, but is he the main antagonist? Now he's imprisoned. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough. And we haven't seen the show. So do me a favor, Jalen. Get back to me in September or so, or October when the show wraps up its first season, and then I can give you otherwise I'm just talking out of my ass. I can do that anyway, but don't want to. Not really. Not really, because if you're talking Flashpoint, then you're talking when you're talking comic book wise, you're talking about something that engulfed other books. And the first time that you saw the Flash was not as part of the Flash. This is the first time you're seeing these Green Lanterns. So yeah, by the time if you include, whoever Justice League movie you favor, you're talking. You saw him in BBS for a little bit. You saw him introduced in a Justice League movie. You can argue with everyone you want, what you came upon, and then you saw him in his movies. So he was established as a character. They didn't use Flashpoint to establish the first time you saw him. So it's possible. I don't think it's probable, but as long as they do, I just want to see how they do it without adding too much to the show that clutters the show and makes it hard to prioritize who's who and what is what and what's important. And that always, and whenever you do comic book adaptations, that's always a risk. And I've seen it happen over and over again, where their eyes get big, bigger than their brains, and they're like, you know what if we do this? What if we do this? What if we do this? And it's like, they start using their comic book brain to try to do their show running brain, and sometimes that doesn't always mix together. I trust Damon Lindelof more than I trust some of the people who've done it, had a shot at this before, but it's still, they got a lot of real estate in between the rainbow and Hal Jordan. They can go a lot of different ways. So if they don't, I wouldn't be disappointed. If they did it and they did it organized wise, I would be okay with it. What little I know about Green Lanterns, I really like the chant to play. Yeah. And then a lot of people are going to be in that basket. A lot of people, the majority of people who watch the show are never, and I hate saying this, are never going to pick up a comic book. You heathens should do it, but most of you are going to see this. Most of the people who are going to be watching this show are going to be just waiting there for the next HBO show. They liked the last one they just saw, and the last one before that, and the last one for that. Hell, they were probably they were kids when this shit started, and now they're bringing their next generation into this because HBO Sunday nights is a trusted brand. What lanterns would you add for season 2? I would not add Kyle or Jessica. I would not add them until years down the line. Because depending on what situation, because remember, there was a big, massive situation that Kyle was bought into. That was the demise of that Hal Jordan. So whereas you didn't, because Jon Stewart doesn't take over for Hal Jordan, he takes over for injured Guy Gardner. So they've already scrambled that. So I guess you could bring in Kyle. Kyle, for me, represents a shift in all of Green Lantern that I don't know if he could represent here, depending on what story's being told. Because when Kyle Rayner came in, that meant the end of the Green Lanterns as we knew them. That literally meant the death. They went from 3,600 Green Lanterns to 1. And then he was the one. He was the focal point. So if you were going to bring Kyle Rayner in, for me, it would be down the line when Jon Stewart is done, because the whole appeal of Kyle Rayner's story arc was he was the only Green Lantern. He was the last Green Lantern. And then the end of his arc where he helped reform the Corps. That's a story that's way down the line. And I don't know if they're going to tackle that, within a season 3, 4, or 5. If this thing lasts for a while and, who knows where it could go. But right now, I don't know how long the show has. I know it's got 1 season. And Jessica's even further down. Jessica Cruz is like, so, I have to see the show. I doubt you would see any of those newer characters, but there's nothing showing me that they can't be there. But no, next Green Lantern, I wouldn't personally, I would not add another Earth Green Lantern until midway through or to the end of the show's run, because there's other Green Lanterns out there that you can highlight. There's 3,600 Green Lanterns, and not all the stories need to involve other Green Lanterns either. So we know the Green Lantern Corps is out there. We know these Green Lanterns exist, but there's been years where we've gone with an entire Green Lantern story without just any Green Lantern but one. So it depends on what direction they take the show. Let's see. I do wish the suit was more, I don't know, something else I don't hate, but I don't love the suit. So I don't know why DCU suits are up and down, like Superman suit, love it, Peacemaker suit, love it. It's the story that they're telling. In Peacemaker, you're telling an over-the-top story that needed an over-the-top costume.
For me, this is more of a me thing, but I think the emblem is like I wish the emblem or like the lantern emblem. It's just that's a little small for my liking. It's like it's about the size of like the emblem on like Guy Gardner's, the ones he's got on his shoulders. It's like when you got in the chest, they're like, yeah. That should be to me more prominent. I think
it doesn't mean anything. For me, and so I'll answer you. It doesn't mean anything for me, and I'll tell you why. Something I don't hate it, but now with Superman, you're telling the story of somebody who's evolving into a symbol. a symbol that is recognized. People who never even get within 1,000 feet of a Superman comic know who Superman is, and they know what the traditional Superman looks like to the point. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Kingdom Come S, but that Superman costume didn't really stop me from enjoying the movie because the costumes don't mean anything to me at that point. If the story's shit, then the costume doesn't mean shit to me. Now, if you're the main thing that I need for it to move the story along at its pace is that it be recognizable as Green Lantern, not whether it's what I would prefer as Green Lantern. That doesn't mean shit because it's not my story. I needed that costume for me is recognizable as Green Lantern. That's all it needs to be right now. The context of the story, why it looks that way, the story behind that is yet to be told. So that's why my opinion about the costume and what I would, could it be more green or more magenta? That means nothing. It means nothing to the story, and it means nothing to me because I don't know the context of why it looks like that. All I needed to be is recognizable as a Green Lantern, and that's easily recognizable as a Green Lantern. Everything else I will let get backfilled by the story and the evolution of the story, because that may be the only time that costume might symbolize where Hal is at in his life as far as how he feels about being Green Lantern, how he feels about the system and all these things. And you might see a John Stewart costume that is everything you guys, have been wanting, because that's where the story takes a shift in his direction. So just looking at the costume at a trailer and informing it, my opinion about the costume is meaningless because I don't know why, what, and where. So it's fine. Peacemaker, different reasons, and over the top. And he explains
Peacemaker is, I mean, a punchline of a character. So
it's the context of the story that James Gunn, Lindelof is telling a different story. So there's a different context.
See, I'm a different mindset. It's like a lackluster suit. It's not enough to kill a cape shit show or movie for me, but it can drag it down massively. It's like that is
if you let it,
when you've got something that's that ingrained into that character's mythos and backstory,
okay,
and it
what
drops
you're saying
the ball.
is perfect. What you're saying is perfect. That doesn't mean shit. I'm not saying what you're saying. I'm saying in general, what you're saying doesn't mean jack shit to the overall context of the story and who it's being funneled to and why. Because your opinion is like you looking at a pizza and saying it tastes great without taking a bite. You can only see that with the pizza that's sitting in front of you and that sliver of your reality. That's all you can see without the context and the meaning of all that. Comparing it to the mythos. The mythos don't mean shit right now because we don't know at what angle that they're taking it.
So basically, I can't do anything except effusively praise this.
No, but just understand. Listen, like I said last night, everybody has opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Just because you have one doesn't mean it's like I have an opinion on nuclear physics. I'm a fucking moron. What does my opinion about that mean? But
this is not
opinion,
nuclear physics. That is so apples and oranges.
My opinion on it's not. Your
No,
opinion
it isn't.
on the hold on. My opinion, I'll use mine. My opinion on the mythos doesn't mean jack shit. I don't know what's going on in the show. I'm taking a snippet from a trailer and totally disrespecting that storyteller's path to why things look and feel the way they do based on what I saw, based on what I believe the mythos be. I've been collecting and reading comics for 45 years. My opinion about the mythos in relation to this show doesn't mean shit. I'm guessing.
But it does mean shit to my experience with it.
If you let, and then what were my words? Listen, you can fuck yourself if you want to.
No, I'm not required to like the suit.
You can fuck yourself and suck the life and fun out of it.
It's not tangling and fucking myself. It's saying I don't think the suit's up to par.
If you want to add shit that doesn't matter to other shit, you go ahead. I can't have
if that were irrelevant, then everybody would love the bat nipples.
How is that compared to the established mythology that doesn't was already established? No, you're talking about something that was you're talking about a trilogy that was established. That costume,
and that drugged that down for a lot of people. And I'm saying it's like this.
Because if that movie were any good, nobody would have gave a fuck about that. Only dumb shits like us.
Oh, the hell they wouldn't have given a shit about the bad nipples.
Stupid shits like us who stare at a screen today, all day. That's who cares about that. But if the movie show whatever sucks, then it doesn't matter. Green Lantern
but if
2011
it's great
sucks.
and it's got a bad suit, that could take it down.
But see, you don't know what it's going to be or not.
Yeah, but I'm saying if this is where it lands,
But
that will take it down.
that's bullshit because you're putting
hell
the
it
apple
is.
before the cart. Yeah, it is.
It is. This is the marketing they're putting out. I'm telling you, this is what the suit they're showing.
Okay, we're not going to get into that clusterfuck because I already exposed that bullshit last night. All right, words of Williams, stop being dumb. Yeah, and you know what? You know who benefits by not being fucking stupid? You, the viewer.
Yeah, but it's not stupid having an opinion on bad marketing.
No. But your opinion, and you're banging yourself, and once you have an opinion and you enter into a conversation, it's not just your fucking opinion anymore. You're trying to be part of a conversation, and you're dragging that conversation down.
Well, I'm not dragging my knuckles into the conversation.
I'm not talking about you. The world, listen, there are other people besides you in the world, Brad. I know. There are other people with shitty opinions besides you.
Yeah, but my opinion is not shitty. It's based on
an opinion, but that's fine. Observing a teaser. Do you even get? Oh my god! It's like we're going back to Remedial again. You guys are writing a fucking Bible off of 2 teasers.
Yes, 2 lackluster teasers.
That is stupid on its face. But I'm going to let you be. Hey, listen. Being stupid is free. Be dumb. Be dumb. Ruin it for yourself. You know that. Listen. I can't watch the show for you. I can't convince you to do. If you're forming your opinion on this we're talking like.
What is the point of marketing? It's like me. People.
It's like me talking to a fucking raccoon and trying to say, you know what, raccoon? Listen, this is where I think you don't. Get out of the trash, raccoon. We're not speaking the same language because you're off somewhere else, and I'm taking in the information that they're giving me and not trying to add the mythos to it, even though I could because I know them just as much as you do. That is not the story that they're telling. You are not the storyteller.
Yes, but I'm evaluating the marketing, and the marketing has sucked.
I think HBO knows how to do marketing better than
Not on
Brad
this character they don't.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they just got dumb because you don't like their marketing.
Because as you just said, I'm not the only guy in the world.
Yeah, but yeah, stop being dumb. But if you want to, go ahead. I see the stuff happening, and I've done a good job. I haven't interacted with a lot of people on this because I don't. What good am I doing you? if this is what you're focused on, we're not going to have a coherent conversation. So I'll wait till the show comes out, and you hold on. Let me get full screen here. You watch the fucking show, and then the conversation will change.
Well,
then you have something to talk about that.
Let me add to that too. It's like when we watch the show, it might have green and constructs in it.
You saw that in the teaser.
They threw us a bone in the teaser. They threw us a bone. It's like, because it's like, yeah, like I said, what a concept.
Okay, us is you knuckleheads. It gave me everything I needed. So, all right, I'm gonna be pissed off by the end of the series if it's like Peacemaker. That's really the only thing about this show.
You mean, like he gets stranded like in some? Well, he's not gonna get stranded.
Yeah, I don't think the show is going to be any way, shape, or form. James Gunn on his deep end and Lindelof on his deep end they're not even. I don't even think they're the same species. They are 2 different types of stories.
Oh, rational. Thank you for backing me up here. It's like William says Superman's marketing was bad, so Brad has the right to say Lancer's marketing was bad. There you go.
No, mine was based on precedent though. Brad's is based on whatever.
Mine is based on the regular sucking.
And you guys, if you're gonna quote me, do the homework. When I said Superman's marketing was bad, what did I say? Not the look, not the feel, not the costume. What I said was bad. It was the way they paced out the beginning of the marketing campaign versus where they should have been marketing. I told you I did not like the way the Superman costume looked. And what did I tell you at that same time? It didn't mean shit as far as the movie. It didn't have any effect on what I thought going before Superman came out, what I thought the quality may or may not be when it comes to that movie. Now, when I said the marketing campaign was bad because it started really late and they advertised a movie instead of advertising a culture, that is not the same as doing this shit and trying to figure out when you know what, the first 15-20 minutes of this show, because guess what, the show is meant to be watched, not to be fucking dissected prior to. I know that's a thing and people make a lot of money, that's great, but if you watch the show, who knows why his costume looks like that, why he doesn't use energy strike? That's the story. That's why I'm watching.
So you're telling me you think
when I see it.
you're planting your flag tonight. Do you think that Hal Jordan's costume is going to change by the end of the show?
No, I think the costume of the Green Lantern that is going to be the center of the show is going to change. I think Hal Jordan's done. I know a lot of people ain't gonna want to hear that. I'm starting to feel I'm seeing the Reaper. I think Hal Jordan is done. I think Hal Jordan is going to be used as a piece to get this story going, and that the majority of this run, its entire run, will be focused around John Stewart. And maybe later on down, if this show, knock on wood, let's pray, actually lasts a long time, that maybe you're going to start to see some of the younger lanterns in there. We've already seen, I don't even think you're going to see Nathan Fillion that much in it. I think this show is being set up to center around John Stewart. I think Hal Jordan is done in quick fashion. I think there's some misleading going on here, because most traditional people in comic book world, Hal Jordan is the even though we went a decade without him. But I think that's where you're going to see the shit hit the fan. So his costume, Hal Jordan's costume, I don't think Hal Jordan's costume is going to evolve. I think Hal Jordan's costume, this is just my guess, but I could be 100% wrong because I haven't seen the show. I think Hal Jordan has reached a point in his career where he's just, when you work with that guy and his first day at the job, and say you work alongside a guy for like 20 years, and you remember how he looked, his apron or his vest or his uniform was all sharp and crept up, and it was beautiful. Not the military, because the military, it stays that way till you die. But if you're just working at, your average person is like, you know what? My first 3 or 4 years, this was great. I bounced out of bed, I read it in, I did my job, I loved my job, I hung out with everybody. And year 10, year 15, year 20, year 25, it's like, I believe in the job, but I've seen so much bullshit that I need you to get this out of my way. I don't need to look like this. I know what I'm fucking doing. That type of that Hal Jordan from the snippets I got is the Hal Jordan that's had it. The Hal Jordan that has had it, and John Stewart is the other end of that spectrum. Where he's just coming into this with a sense of wonder, along with his military discipline. So his uniform is going to look modern. Hal Jordan is old school. He uses the old ways. When he first became Green Lantern, maybe wasting energy. This is because the original Green Lantern in the comics that we showed that day did not, he gets the ring, but it does not form the costume around him. For a while, he had a cloth costume. So depending on how they want to dice the story up, this Green Lantern, he's about to retire. Something may have happened to where he doesn't believe in the Green Lanterns anymore. He doesn't believe in the Guardians. He doesn't believe in their ideology. It seems like he's there to that point to where he just wants to be done with it. And then this case comes along to where it's, he becomes obsessed with it in that town. That costume, in my opinion don't mean shit because I haven't seen the show. It's my opinion, that's where he is as Green Lantern. That's where he is in life. That's where he is as I'm worn down. I mean, even John Stewart in that other phase, you're tired, you're old, you're tired, and that is probably reflective of the attire you see. Now, when John Stewart gains the ring, he may just energy construct his uniform. You may never see John Stewart in a uniform like Hal Jordan, because they're from 2 different generations, as it looks like they're telling. And we can't get an indication of what another Green Lantern other than Guy Gardner, because Guy Gardner's got Maxwell Lord shit all over it. That's not a true Green Lantern costume. And we've never seen we've never seen Guy Gardner power down his suit or anything. So for all we know, that could just be the standard of this universe, is that the suit is not an energy construct. So seeing the suit, the whole Brown jokes and all that, I'm like, haha, that's funny. But
accurate.
If you're saying that, but when you see if there's an explanation for it, and I could see that one, the one I'm being put plausible, then that's part of the story. That's part of the grizzled old vet, and
that doesn't make the story good, though.
You don't know that. You haven't seen the story.
Yes, but that in and of itself doesn't say okay.
Because that's the kind of shit that literally, I mean, if I leave anything, if I give a gift to any of my fellow geeks, and this is not just this Lantern show, this is in general, slow the fuck down. Not everything has to hit you at a million miles. Enjoy the shit. This is entertainment. This is what happens. And let's take Lanterns off the screen, because that's just today's flavor. This goes back to BVS. This goes back to Man of Steel. This
That is
goes
so
back
apple
to
to
all this
oranges.
stuff. No, it isn't. It is. It is. You're biased, and I understand that. But it's the same thing.
So I have to be in
So
lockstep with this show and praise it
no.
every step of the
But
way
you don't have
up
to
through the
turn your
marketing.
ass upward towards the sky and projectile
That's not
shit
what I'm
on something
doing.
that's not
That's not
here.
what I'm doing. I'm saying the marketing sucks, which it does. And I'm hardly the only one to make that point.
I'm going to try to separate the marketing thing from some of the stuff you said. And I'm going to just forget about the marketing thing because that's just an opinion that'll bear itself out. Just like I think Superman left $100 million on the table. That doesn't mean shit. Yours is when you connect it, and I'm not just talking about you. You're just on the screen right now. We lay in wait for these things, and we fuck them before they get out of the womb. And to be honest with you, that's soul sucking. That poisons your community. Some of the things that I hear, these fully formed opinions about a show that no one's seen yet. And when I see the inconsistencies of it, to where the shit that you'll give, a pass to versus the stuff that people will be like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Oh, it's like, you know what? I'm okay if you decide to watch it and you legitimately think it sucks, all right, that's art. But I think what has unfortunately hurt discourse on across the board, across all genres, is the pre-shit. Is the passionate pre-shitting on something. If I don't like something, guys, listen, you only heard my opinion about Mortal Kombat because Brad would bring it up, and I didn't like the first one. I thought the first one was trash. But did I tell you not to go see it? Did I tell you?
Am I telling anybody not to watch the show?
You're not, dude. The world doesn't revolve around you. Talking to
am I telling anybody not to watch Lanterns when I say what I'm thinking of the trailer?
Talking to the audience. You cannot, in any right mind, deny that has become the culture, and it sucks. It's really ruined movie talk. It's really, turned the internet into something that you just have to avoid certain people because they're full of shit. The opinions, yeah, everybody's got an opinion. But you know the difference between one that's there for a reason and one that's just an opinion. You can see that. A fucking fourth grader can see it. So I am more interested in having this conversation with people after Lanterns hits. The same people that like 10 years later that bashed Man of Steel didn't see it, saw it, and now I can have a conversation with them. Same people who told me BVS was this and that and this didn't see the movie, admitted they didn't see the movie, were shitting on the movie months before it came out, wasn't even done filming. 10 years later, talking to those people, man, I wish I had seen this in the theaters. And here we are again, doing the same stupid shit. And it's like, wow. It's like time. You think time makes us better.
I'll make a deal here. It's like, because again, I'm not saying I'm not going to watch the show. It's like I said last night. I mean, I've seen the marketing sucks, which it does. The show could be phenomenal. It's like I have no point said I'm going to sit out the show. Okay, that's the point I'm making is that the marketing, it's not putting their best foot forward. Okay, if the show comes out, I do a 180. I will happily. Say it's like I'm perfectly eager to admit when I go into it with low expectations, and I mean the example I bring up every time is Superman and Lois. It's like I did not expect that to become my favorite.
Yeah, you're on the screen right now. I'm not. I know. We will watch it. I've watched your opinion. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about what I see.
But okay,
and it's not good.
If we get to the end of Lanterns, and that's the shit. That's still the suit. Sorry.
Even if it's a knockout story.
The suit will always drag it down the star for me if it sucks.
See, I do it differently because
the suit can. Again, we're talking about characters that wear suits. We wear costumes.
And Superman's suit was dog shit in my opinion.
It was. It's like
that didn't drag down the story for me. But hey, you know what?
That did. Now that brought down the movie more. I would have liked it more if they had a better suit. one of the reasons why I'm as enamored with Man of Steel as I am is because the suit is awesome.
That's shit for me. I've read enough comments where artist rendition of the suit looks like shit, but they put out a banger story. So that's just me. That's just the way of thinking. WB made the discourse worse, in my opinion. They were the ones to blame for treating their fans like trash. I completely understand that, but I'm not in that era anymore. So, and at what point, are you just going to consume it and go from there? Does everything need to be approached with, with knives out and forks out? We're aiming, like I said, I don't chase ghosts. I'm not a ghostbuster. And I don't want to let the ghost of 2017's past ruin anything for me. I'm not going to let, people who are not with the company ruin Lanterns for me. There's some really good people working on this. So I completely understand what you're saying, but that just doesn't have any real
taking either. It's like,
I'm answering Lindell. I understand. I get you, man. I understand
I'm not claiming that Jeff Johns made a crummy Lantern suit.
He made a crummy movie, though. But here's the thing, though.
I saw the Lantern
suits. I saw the Lantern suit on that, and I thought it looked like shit. But when I walked into that movie, that didn't mean anything to me. I'm like, okay, if he gives me, a really good Green Lantern movie, and Ryan Reynolds, so I wasn't, as big a fan of at the time, then I'm going to be like, you know what? The suit is just something that this delivery part of the story could it have been better? Do I wish it had been better? Do I hope it evolved? Yeah. I hate the Batman's cowl. I hate his cowl. I hate that jawline. That jawline bothers me. That movie's my favorite overall Batman movie. I maybe my mind is working differently to where I can compartmentalize different elements of the story, and that's fine. But as far as like WB's misfires, we're talking about the people who fired, they're gone. And I just, that's a part of the thing. That's a decision. Do I want to carry that weight with me onto everything that DC does, or do I want to enjoy something? And that's an individual decision. I can't make that for people. FYI, Williams Bedward looks what comment. Oh, here we go, dude. The brown.
Well, I mean, you do have more green in your room right now than the trailer had. I mean, that's not an opinion.
I have failed you all as a host, I see.
Hey, maybe so next Spider-Man trailer, he doesn't need to do any web slinging or wall crawling. I mean,
So we need to lower our expectation and excitement toward the show. No, the exact opposite. I say leave yourself open. Because it could suck, guys. I haven't seen it from this crew, but it could suck. We could be more. This could be Green Lost. It could suck.
I don't think that will happen.
I don't think it'll get. I don't think so. But that's the thing about not knowing is it could fucking blow. None of this could come together. This could all suck.
I never go worst case scenario on anything. Have gripes.
I'd be very saddened if it did, though. I'd be like, dude, I might stop streaming for a week. It sucks.
Well, I mean, it's like,
this is the one I've been waiting for.
2 months to watch the whole show through, too.
Yeah. So, but I'm not saying people need to if you have a bias, that's fine. I am biased towards this show because I've experienced what these particular creators have done, and I've been happy with it. They have a customer in me. But I'm leaving myself open to the fact that it could suck. Well, all I'm asking is for everybody to stop dragging other shit into the expectations, because that's going to harm. You're not going to have any fun. You're bringing your story. You're bringing your memories. You're bringing your this. You're bringing your that. And putting it in between you and the story that they're trying to tell you. What's the point of even watching it then? If for those of you who are going to watch, some people are just, they're not going to like James Gunn for whatever reason. It doesn't matter what he does or James or who or where or what, those are those people. I'm not even talking to the people. I'm talking to the people who legitimately spend time and are interested, but to the point where move all the clutter out of the way, sit back and absorb what they're giving you. And if you don't like it, by all means, make a YouTube career out of saying it. But at least, listen, we may not disagree, but at least you watched it and came out with an informed opinion and had all the pieces in front of you and said, this fucking sucked. I can respect that. Because what I've seen, especially with DC, because I've seen how I get that old feeling again. Where, you just want to jump on something. I would rather just, don't harm yourself. Don't watch it. And I hate watching. Don't hate watch anything. That's just stupid. But I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying be open to all possibilities when it comes to the show. be open to their possibilities. In order to watch Superman 2025, I had to be open to James Gunn's interpretation of that character. Otherwise, it was pointless for me. I wasn't going to come in with, wow, dude, I hope they do this like so-and-so. I hope they do this like, like this guy wrote him. No. And I didn't go in and say that wasn't Superman either. Because that's somebody's Superman. And I see somebody, that's not Green Lantern, that's not Hal Jordan. I'm like, what? That's not the Hal Jordan that you read or we read or whatever, but we're not reading. This is not his assignment. They're making a show. They're telling a story. You let those guys in the papers and staples tell their story. What's the difference between that and this? That's all. And it's when it's just, like I said, I wish that culture would go away. But no, be open to anything. Be open to it being overwhelming you. Be open to it, to just boring you. Be open to everything based on what comes off that screen. That's all I'm saying. Is that? I don't think I'm asking too much, but that would be fucking hilarious, and I would be okay with that. Be honest with you, because I do think Ryan Reynolds is a talented creator and a talented actor. It's just a bad movie, and you know what? I don't mind.
But they had him as like Alan Scott or something.
That I would be 100% okay with that, because nobody set out to make a bad movie, but I think that's what I mean. Comic accurate.
I do think he goes a little bit overboard on like it's like, okay, we get it. You don't like the finished product, man. It's like, but again, I think it's like he's made that point so many times. It's kind of getting tiresome.
Yeah, that could have hurt his career, but it didn't. But it wouldn't have been his. He didn't write the movie. I mean, he went on to bigger and better things. I would not mind seeing. That would be hilarious, actually. And as a Green Lantern reject or somebody who is a candidate or something, that just gets rejected.
Maybe like the ring, like maybe like Hal dies.
The ring visits him and says, "Nah."
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
Aaron says if Guy Gardner was a pro wrestler, his Green Lantern gimmick sucks. However, his Red Lantern gimmick is goat.
Red Lantern. There's just so much about that. We're gonna jump into that storyline eventually as we get close. You know what? I'm gonna wait until okay, yeah, you're putting me to sleep with that. If my conversation about Green Lantern is going to be dictated on what we're given, so if we start getting colored the rainbow, then we'll start talking the rainbow, because we started talking about it with Absolute. Absolute has addressed it in a completely different way. They're doing it, and they're taking a big risk with that book, but it's being done so well that I'm on board. It's a lot to take in, and it's one of the reasons why that's one of the books that is the hardest to move. Even though it's moving well, it could move a lot better, but there's just so much lore to it that even without having being attached to Green Lantern, there's just a lot going on right now. You got the black energy, you got the green energy, you got the yellow energy. You just got so many things while you're introducing the mainline Green Lantern, and that's a tough ask. Let's see. I hope I help. I just want people to have fun. To be honest with you, I just want to have fun. I want to have fun with this. I want to have fun with all Supergirl.
To be clear about what I'm saying, it's like I said, it's like I may end up loving the show. Doesn't change the fact that I think they dropped the ball in the marketing. And those are two separate things. You can have great marketing for a bad movie or show, and it can be vice versa.
Yeah, and my main thing is the people who are just dogging it not because of what they're saying. They're dogging it because of what they've seen. And there are people who want the Green Lantern in their heads to be on this screen on August 15th. And you know what? I don't want that. I don't want the Green Lantern in my head on that screen. I want the one that Lindelof gives me. And that's what I'm waiting for. My whole summer. It's Comic-Con.
I want that too. I just hope that Green Lantern has green with him.
He's gonna have why do you guys think there's not gonna be a shit ton of green in this? That's like, I don't need to know. Okay, if they make we're Deadpool 3 or whatever we're considering with if they make a new Deadpool movie, right? They could have a trailer of him not cutting and gutting, and I know.
Well, yeah, but you've had 3 movies of him cutting and gutting by this point.
It's a show. Come on, guys, let's just lend ourselves to a little bit of. Let's give ourselves room in our thought process here. who is the main character of this show? Whether it be Hal Jordan, it's the Green Lantern. Yeah, it's lanterns, but you know who it's about. You know who it's about.
Yeah. So show us the greenness of this dude in the marketing.
It's first of all, the teasers for me, these teasers have been perfect. As somebody whose Green Lantern was and he became my favorite character again in the '90s once Kyle took over. I was blown away with what they were doing, and I stayed. These teasers are perfect for me. These teasers are perfect. I looked at it from my understanding and my enjoyment of what HBO Max has done, or HBO has done for the last 30 years. I understand the mythology in certain points of the Green Lantern lore that are linchpins that may or may not be relevant to this show. I understand, and I understand the ones that are not. That's fine. But I also know that this very capable person is putting together a story the same way as Ron Mars and Daryl Banks were putting together the story on the Papers and Staples. You know, that's what I see. And the only thing I see is that there's going to be some adjustments made in the format and the way it's delivered. The teaser wasn't for me, guys. The teaser wasn't for anybody watching this show. The teaser is not for anybody who's going to be on this show. The teaser was for the HBO Max and HBO audience. And in that respect, in the overwhelming, I hate to say it, even with Geeks being popular and everything else, and Big Bang Theory and Cosby and Comic-Con, the Joe average is still the hard backbone of any of this. And in that respect, that trailer, those teasers were perfect. Trailer is going to be a different thing now, because now when you give me a full-blown trailer, now what you're saying is a fair assessment, because now we're at that stage to where I gave you a glimpse here, gave you the dollar bill, gave you the contract. Now we're going to take it a step to show you that. Now we start getting meaningful dialogue, not just you're old, man, and you're not getting this ring out of my dead body and all that. We're not going to get the cliche shit. We're actually going to get dialogue that lends itself to the actual premise. So the trailer for me is going to be a higher standard than teasers. Teasers are supposed to get the conversation going. Not even supposed to be able to explain anything. It's to show you enough to get you going. The trailer is the premise. This next one that they do is probably, is going to be way more important than these teasers are. Because now when I leave that trailer, I know what the fuck is going on. They may even drop a hint about Hal's mentality of why his suit may look worn down old dude that's had it. We all have that person in our life. They may drop that. So this next one will be but yeah, when I gave you the analogy of what a lot of fans are doing is I think they're interpreting what's being shown in these teasers through the lens of what they've already seen. And I don't know if that's the best idea. And that's coming from somebody who's read these characters and loves these characters from those formats. It's like you're putting up a barrier into enjoying. I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about in general what I see in general, and not just today though. If this was the first time this was going down, totally situated. But this has been a decade and a half long culture, and it just really sucks the fun out of shit. So, let's see. Clint was excited about the Pratt nipples. When I see a trailer forth, I'll get back to you. There's
the oath. Yeah, but
it's gonna be kind of cool.
Brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall shame us. Those who worship evil's might be burned by power. Green Lantern's light.
We know it's the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So whatever.
What's the green?
It's gonna be kind of cool when one of them first says that. Do we owe Ryan Reynolds or Green Batman? No. Both men got paid for their movie. It was a bad movie. I don't. It's not their. It's not
that would be
fault.
funny though if they like Hal dies and I mean, literally, it's like if that were to happen, like it would be he would die and like the ring flies off, and it literally go from like one Hal to another, and then say no, not you.
It chooses Guy Gardner over him. That'd be hilarious. No, listen, if we weren't, DC wasn't where it needed to be. It would never get there, to be honest with you, in order to make a good Green Lantern interpretation. They never allowed themselves to be artistic with it. They let Jeff Johns, instead of having Jeff Johns, should have just been one of the many.
Shouldn't have been in the office to begin with.
Well, if he's in the office, there needed to be somebody there. There needed to be many more voices in there to let everybody know that we're not making a comic book. I know that's what you do, Jeff. And I know we're here as an advisor, but Tom King is not the main guy on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Tom King is not the main guy here. He's in the room, but there is a filmmaker that's chief in that room. There is a director that is chief in that room. There is a script and a screenplay, and they did not know what they had in 2000, the early 2000 teens. They just didn't know. They didn't know, and they didn't know how to handle it. And one of the things that they should have copied from Marvel, the one, I needed DC to be DC. They needed to copy that structure, put filmmakers in the room, and have comic book guys as your advisors, because they went off the rails with hell, Green Lantern. That's a comic book accurate movie, but it's not a good movie. It takes more. The inspiration is one thing. You have to keep telling yourself over and over again while you're making these movies, while you're making these shows, I am not making a comic book. And I know that sounds like blasphemy, and it should sound like blasphemy coming from my lips, but that's the truth. Comic books are comic books. You're taking that inspiration and you're crafting it into something that the general audience can connect with. Like somebody came into the store the other day because they had watched our Punisher One Last Kill, right? And they gave me all the descriptions of the Carl Potts era, the Larry Hama era, the area that I grew up loving, and the Stephen Grant era. And then how come Punisher is a more stoic, guy? How come he's having all these breakdowns on the screen? Well, to be honest with you, if this story was taking place in real life and we were dealing with somebody that went through that over and over again, I'm sorry, that person would be John Bernthal. And that doesn't take away from the paper and staples. That format doesn't lend itself to that, him calling out to his daughter that way, me hearing him call out to that conversation with Daredevil. If I put that on paper and had the best writer in the world put that on paper in a comic book, it does not have the impact. The one where he was talking to him in the basement where he says, how did Foggy get life? That conversation does not have the weight because of the portrayal and everything else. So that's why you have to respect that there's different formats, and different formats have different advantages and different disadvantages. All right, let's see. Pineapple on pizza would be the Sinestro Corpse. It's nasty. That's gross. You eat pineapple on pizza?
I like pineapple. I'm pretty simple. I'm usually just a pepperoni guy, but.
Well, the only thing missing was Brock Lesnar not coming out with the green Mark Henry. Yeah, I thought that was pretty. He did the whole retirement thing, and he came out, and now he's going to fight Obafemi again. I think it's not going to hurt Obafemi, but I was like, you know what, fine. I mean, if they want to, as long as they're using Brock Lesnar to elevate Obafemi, then I'm good with it. I just thought it was over. But all right, guys, this was supposed to be a quick show.
But I'm gonna wrap up my thoughts on it real quick here, because
nobody cares. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
To kind of encapsulate what I'm saying is again, all I'm saying here is look, the marketing hasn't grabbed me so far. It's and that's not an assessment on the show itself. That's assessment on the marketing. The show could blow me away. It's but the marketing is it's not. It's this teaser is better than the first one, definitely. But again, it just hasn't pulled me in. I hope that changes. I'd love to love the show. It's maybe that will be the case, but again, this is an assessment of the marketing, not a finished product, and also bringing it back to what I was saying.
That's fair. That's fair.
And what I was saying about the suit too is that's a lens that I enter when it comes to DC or Marvel stuff. It's the suit is so integral to each of these characters. It's if you give me one that is just really lackluster, that can drag it down for me. And in fact, I think William agrees with me more In fact, I know he for a fact William absolutely agrees with me on that, and I'm going to prove that right now with one. Just I'm going to prove that right now with just a quick little search on Google and this quick little image here. I will show beyond a shadow of a doubt that William agrees with me that a bad suit or a lackluster suit or a lackluster design of a character can drag down a movie. I rest my case.
There's so much awful about this that goes beyond that. This suit right here, and this is when
you're telling me the suit
when I saw this suit, I had already heard the story, heard the script.
So you're telling me that the look of the Superman is bad?
Yeah.
This would have drug it down for you.
No. I think it looks ridiculous. I think it looks absolutely absurd. It's embarrassing.
But you did.
However,
you never saw the finished product.
No, but I
heard the movie they made.
I heard about the premise.
The premise was historical. You heard the cliff notes. You didn't see like the finished product.
But this movie was already done. This movie was already not happening before I saw it.
It didn't sit before anybody's eyes. You didn't see what Burton had in his mind.
By the time we saw this monstrosity, the movie had been shit canned. It's been shelved. The story of what they were trying to do. Which means
you did not see Burton's vision for it.
I didn't. There was nothing to see.
So you don't. So you.
This is not a really good comparison.
This could have been a masterpiece.
Here's the thing,
because we didn't get to the finish line for it.
Well, because other things. You see, you're trying to blame it on the costume. The costume was probably the manifestation of.
But you agree with me? This costume,
it's awful.
Not good.
It's awful.
So therefore, a bad costume.
Okay. All right, no, because I'm going to shoot this bullshit down real quick. All right, let's take this thing.
So I just showed you guys. William is
take this thing. I'm going to tell you why.
He's more in simpatico with me on this than he's willing to.
No, I'm not. If you took that, you can bring that shit back up because it helped me feel. If you took that thing, that costume, whatever you want to call it,
from a director's vision that you did not see the finished product for, and therefore you cannot fairly judge the full vision of the director, of the storyteller.
If that was coming out next week, I would go see that movie. That's the difference between because
did I at any point say I wouldn't see Lanterns?
Hold on, and it's not gonna that did not that in its totality of going what went on and to this disaster. Before I even saw this, and then the whole he didn't fly the spider.
Before you saw this, which means you didn't see the whole vision of the storyteller.
But you're also what I think about Tim Burton. So if you showed me this and you said, William, Damon Lindelof is writing the story for that, I would still tell you this looks like shit. But Damon Lindelof did Watchmen, and every fucking costume in Watchmen looked like shit. They all looked horrible, but they meant something.
You just said a great show or a great CBM movie or great BM can have bad suits.
I've always said that. What do you wait? I've been saying that the whole fucking hour. What are you talking about? I've been telling you that a shitty suit like this on its face would not stop me. It doesn't mean anything to me. If you give me an epic story, an epic Superman story, I will. It'll hurt my eyes, but I'm going down with it.
But this could have been in an epic. Again, we don't know that because we never saw that movie realized.
See, that's where your comparison dies because we're getting Lanterns. Lanterns is happening.
But if they had been, if he had managed to make Superman Lives, it could have. It could have.
There's too many ifs in what the point you're trying to make. I can't even answer your question because we didn't get any of it. We're getting Lanterns. We never got a teaser from this. Oh, thank God.
Well, we got
the Chrono Bowl. We got
this.
Nah, so that's a bad comparison. But to answer your question, if the costume is the least of my concerns.
If you saw a trailer for a Tim Burton Superman movie that had this in it, would you have said similar comments to what I said about the Green Lantern suit tonight, or the lack of green tonight?
If we're talking about a teaser, I have never in my life made a decision on whether I was going to go see a movie on a teaser.
Well, again,
always wait till the
I'm
trailer.
not saying I'm saying it out. I'm
No,
saying
but you're asking me. I'm answering your question. I would never. I calculate every dollar, every penny, and every minute and every hour of my day before I pull the trigger on something. Unless I'm like I'm totally thrown into it. I am going to sit and wait. Now, 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be a Superman movie that I have not seen in the movie theater. It's just not going to happen. Period. So if this movie went up on the screen, I would go on. I would have gone to it. Period. Now, this suit being a heaping pile of trash, if that's not going to be
from a movie you haven't seen,
if the trailers come out and it's like scary movie, it's buffoonery, and I'm like, okay, nah, we're not going to do this, or I'll do it and I'll go in with low expectations. I'll come out, I'll give my review, and then I'll move on. But if this movie came out and I'm seeing, if it's coming out, if the Tim Burton would have put this on HBO Max or Max, and I'm seeing something with this consistent to the type of advertising and the structure that I've seen for the last 30 years, it gets the benefit of the doubt for me. This being on HBO Max, I can't even believe I'm looking and saying that. But just say for shits and giggles, that if this was on HBO Max and it cleared the HBO Max spectrum, then it's gonna get the benefit of the doubt for me. There were no such things going on with that. What would you trying to compare it to? So the answer would be yes and no at the same time. Yes, I would give it a chance, but I'm not going to let the costume doesn't do, and everybody's going to be different. But I've seen costumes in different forms.
I'm saying this illustrates my point is that
no, it doesn't. You just
bad,
kind of proved mine.
Bad marketing, bad suits for an upcoming DC or Marvel property.
That's not why this movie failed, though. That's why this movie didn't get made.
But again, you don't know. This could have been amazing.
No, you're talking about. Yeah, you're too many hypotheticals. You're building a bridge on bubbles right now. So
it could have been amazing. It's like it could have been amazing.
Yeah, and
do you know that the Superman movie would have sucked?
You don't know it would have been good.
But you don't know it would have sucked.
But I wouldn't base that assessment solely on the suit.
No, but you based you have said you think this would have like ruined the Superman brand if this movie got made.
Not just the costume, because there are people out there that think that costume looks great. I think it looks like shit. But I could be in a minority. Mm-hmm. I think the concept and the story and where they were going with the story in combination with everything else would have been a disaster. It would have been a setback for Nicolas Cage and Superman franchise. I still believe that to this day. Based on the totality, having watched the documentary, based on the totality of what I know, I think we dodged the bullet here.
Incomplete because we don't have that movie to see.
Because it was stopped.
And because but we could have had that movie to see.
Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And by the way, as Aaron says, rest in power.
Yeah. Yeah. You watch that doc. Yeah. Not the same. Not the same. Not the same. Not the same at all. But anyway, let's get out of here. It's Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to be on the air.
We don't have like any shows or.
We don't have any shows, so I got some other stuff I got to attend to. So we'll probably be back on. No, we are definitely going to be back on Wednesday at some point during the day.
Oh yeah, for the anniversary.
That will not be a long show. I don't know because I'm going to be. I got my schedule throughout the day packed, but I do want to take time.
So it's like it might. Do you want to do it during like our normal time, or do you want to do it earlier in the evening, or what?
We could either do it it'd have to be in the morning or it'd have to be late in our normal time because early in the evening I'm packed up on Wednesday. So, but I do want to commemorate it. Yeah, I do want to commemorate it because there's only 2 dates that mean anything to me, and that's the March 18th, 2021, and May 20th of 2020. That was a very special moment for a lot of different reasons, and I do like commemorating it, and I do like talking about it because that's where we were before we started feeding on ourselves and started getting real dumb. We were.
I'm sure he's the big guy is going to have some kind of commemorative, like
thank you for making dropping off kind of thing. Yeah. So I do like to refer to it on that particular day because that's a happy moment. Whether we get anything else of it or not, there's nothing can take away May 20th, 2020. I mean, nothing can take away, and for a lot of different reasons, that was a very special moment that I like to commemorate. All the other dates are just,
You know what else really always stood out to me about that, the announcement is when Henry came on. Like, first of all, it's the watch party Man of Steel. So and we all like we were on pins and needles going into it. We were all like sensed something was gonna happen. But like once
I saw him, I'm like, okay, I gotta sit down.
Well, everybody my heart skipped a beat.
It's not like I had anywhere to go because we were on
Yeah.
lockdown, but I
But
had to
he,
sit down.
but the fact that he came on with the mustache, I, I don't think anyone's asked either of them about that directly, but it's like I have a hunch that Henry took it upon himself to just have a little fun with that. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time he's poked fun at the whole mustache debacle, but I think that he wasn't like in the middle of Mission Impossible at the time, of that. So I do think that he when they said, yeah, this is how we're gonna announce it, he said, okay, I'm gonna grow a mustache for us. Just have a little bit of little fun with that.
I am going to, like I said, maybe we'll raise a couple bucks. Who knows? We got to get back on that trail before it gets it's been slammed with moving and everything. But yeah, that's a very special man. And I remember I wasn't just watching I wasn't just watching it on YouTube and or Vero. I was watching it through. I'd stopped watching it through Vero, and I was getting ready for something else, and I put it up on my computer screen, and I was watching Chris Wong Swinson watch him. So he had him.
Were you at the store or were you at home?
I was at home. This was COVID. We were locked down. We couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, like how long were you locked down again for?
Till June of that year.
Oh shit, that's like what, like 3 months that the doors were closed. The
doors were closed. Yeah. So yeah, I lost a lot of business buddies that to COVID as far as the store goes. But yeah, Chris Wong Swinson he had his fedora on, he had his foil hat.
I think he had the foil hat.
Yeah, and he was talking about, because I know he between him and Junkie, those were the two that I was following to get my information from and to vibe with. And I would watch that Chris Wong Swinson. One of the reasons why I did a Saturday night show is because I used to watch Chris Wong Swinson. I used to come home on Saturday, and he was streaming. He would do his live streams, and I would get on his live stream, and I loved his live stream. And I really wanted to be doing something like that later on.
And to this day, with Man of Steel, that watch party, that's the only time. It's the only time I've ever started Man of Steel and not finished, because once Henry came on, like nobody was paying attention to the movie anymore. They were like, "Okay, what's about to go down here?"
Yeah. And when it happened, and when he did the flipping of the thing, and you saw it, it was like you felt. And we haven't had that since then, since the 18th.
We haven't had a mic drop of like DC news like that since then.
Well, we haven't been together since then.
Yeah, and that was so earth-shattering. It was so earth-shattering.
Yeah, we haven't been together as a fandom or as DC fans in that manner. Once the dog caught the car, we started getting dumb, and it was sad to see, because we knew where we were at. And
we didn't know what to do with it when we caught it.
Yeah, we once things started to deteriorate, and then the management didn't help, but some of the fans didn't help. I was watching it because he was the main person for that. I mean, even Junkie wasn't. Junkie I don't think was live.
I remember, if I remember correctly, he was like at work because he had gone back to work at that point. And then he once the news broke, he did like an in-car cell phone thing where it's like, oh yeah, awesome, we're getting the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, and he was in conversations with him too. So it was like, but like I said, it just reminds me when we were all chasing something and we were having fun. The chase was the thing. It was fun. We were talking to each other.
I mean, but of course that's back when I was, I covered so much of this during my time at Screen Rant and the lead up to that. And it's like, I mean, I had my ear to the ground on certain things. I mean, I didn't know for certain that that's the news we were getting that day, to be clear. But I mean, it's
I heard rumblings, but I wasn't. We had heard rumblings before, and I wasn't gonna. It was the Yeti that we were chasing out in the forest. It was the Jackalopes. It was the Mothman. It was the Jersey Devil. It was all of those things, and you had gotten close, and maybe you thought you saw him wander around in the forest, and then no, it wasn't him. And so when I heard these things, I'm like, okay, but it wasn't until I saw Cavill on there. And those people on there, those Joey, all those people, I'm like, something's about to happen. You could feel it,
Yeah, that was a great. So
all right, guys.
We need another day like that in DC fandom.
Yeah, who knows? I don't need a pandemic, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We will see you Wednesday for sure.
Yes.
And
like 6th anniversary.
Like, subscribe, spread the religion, and hey, listen. Try to have better conversations. Yeah. Have fun. Don't be stupid. Not meaning you can't have an opinion. Just allow yourself to have fun with some of this stuff. I mean, if that should be the first part. That's why I even got into anything that I do. Have fun. These things are fun. That's why I go to conventions. Man, everybody, I wish I could teleport all these people with this discourse. I wish I could teleport you to a convention Wish I could bring you out here to Vegas, just teleport you like Dr. Manhattan. Then you're there. And then these conversations would melt when you're talking to people in person and you're discussing the context of things and not just looking at a computer screen or looking at a chat or looking at Twitter. So try to have fun, and I will see you on Wednesday.
See you guys.